Yay!
Okay.
This is so wild. There's so many of us in front of me right now. I'm gonna be pulling this up all night. I was trying to find my Bright Side t-shirt, and I couldn't find it anywhere.
I was trying to find villains, but it was on the bottom of a laundry pile like this thick, wrinkled.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
forget it.
Yeah. Well, we're doing it. It's happening right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got my questions all like written out right here.
Okay.
Some things for the audience. I just wanted to let y'all know. Oh, someone's wearing their villain shirt. Wonderful.
I know I saw that.
I just wanted y'all to know that we might take questions from the comment section later, depending on how much time we have, but we have a lot that were already submitted on Instagram and TikTok videos already. So we're going to do our best to get through it all, but we're also going to try to keep this to about an hour.
Yeah.
So, first things first, this is Raven Kennedy. She's the international best-selling author of the Plated Prisoner series. And she has other books as well with some special projects coming out soon, but we're going to focus today on the Plated Prisoner because there's definitely enough information to focus on there.
Yeah.
So first things first, people want to know how you're doing. How's the baby?
I'm tired. Like I texted you earlier.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting on like 5 hours of sleep. I just slapped on some makeup to look like I sleep more.
You look
But
stunning.
I'm good. I'm privileged enough I have my husband, he's home with me all day, and my parents are staying here actually right now for the next 5 weeks to help me get through my gold deadline. So I have help. It's still hard. It's still hard having a 5-month-old.
You have five weeks to complete gold. Is that what I just heard?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And that's just first draft, or that's
Yes.
like, okay.
Well,
Okay.
listen, it should be like the whole thing, but that's probably gonna be first draft, and then yeah. But see, second draft is my favorite part. So that I don't like dread that part. That's my favorite part of like writing is when I get to go back and polish it and flush it and make it pretty. And right now it's the gritty bones underneath everything. So that's the hard part because you got to make sure that all your little plot points somehow fit together. And this one's tough because this one is girthy and there's a lot of POVs and there's a lot of stuff happening that has to happen in the final book.
So will there be any new POVs?
I don't think so. Originally, I did write one, but I don't think it's gonna make the cut. I haven't decided.
Can you tell us who it is?
No.
Okay. Fair. And then there was another, you said something about your deadline. Oh, okay. So someone asked specifically, will there be advanced reader copies? And if so, when will those come out? And I was like, it's a big, I don't know. Like, I'll ask her.
I don't know. See, here's the tricky part, right? Up until last year I forgot the name of the book, Glow. I was indie, so I would just fly by the seat of my pants. Now it's a little bit different because UK has the rights, so I have to work with them. And I've never done a release with them actually because they took over right as I released Glow. So this will be the first release with them. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. We're definitely going to do them. I'll definitely do them on my side. I imagine they're going to do it for UK and Commonwealth. I just don't know the timing yet.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And that'll be super fun to work around.
Yeah. So you'll be handling that in case you didn't know. Okay.
So just to kind of explain the accessibility for the ARCs when they are going out on our end here in the United States, you can request to be a member of the Nerd Fam in the link in my bio right now, and that will guarantee that you receive an invitation to apply. But also we will like announce this all over social media. You'll be sick of it when signups open. You don't have to be on the like massive email list if you just want to request gold.
I know, a lot of G names. It's
so
a lot
many
of G names.
Any regrets about that?
None. I love just perpetually being confused about my
So
own
good.
books.
Yeah, so that's how ARCs will be handled. Are we gonna do physical and digital again?
Yeah, we're gonna like go all out because it's the last one.
No. Oh, okay. There was a lag in the video, so I want to make sure
sorry.
that
It might be
all
me
good.
because I'm in the basement, so that you don't hear baby.
I'm in the basement
puppy,
too.
kitty.
I'm hiding from my children
Yeah.
as well.
This is
Yeah.
basement wall.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I tried to make my setup cute, and then I realized it's inverted, so it doesn't
Right.
matter.
We get it.
But whatever.
We get it.
Someone asked about whether or not like there would be international PR sent out. I assume that we'll do the ebooks again in countries where there is not already a publisher.
Like
it's
outside,
complicated, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
UK, so Penguin, Michael Joseph,
Yep.
that's the UK one. They'll handle UK Commonwealth. We'll handle, of course, US, Canada. Any countries outside of that, yeah, we can still handle as long as it'll be like the English editions. But yeah.
Right, yeah. Because I know, you are now published with publishers in Portugal, Brazil, you're
like 15 countries. It's
Germany.
Wild. Yeah. Oh, the Germany editions. I think they're sending me some books. I should have them soon, so that'll be pretty.
That's really exciting. How do you know how many countries you're published? You said 15?
I think 15. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wild.
Congratulations. It's so cool. Did you, when you started writing, when Guild first came out, was there this amount of traction, or when do you feel like the Plated Prisoner series
So it actually wasn't till Gleam. I released Guild. I released Glint like 3 months later, and then I released Gleam like 6 months later. So I did a pretty rapid release with the first 3.
Yeah.
On purpose, because I know, like, just as a reader, I don't like waiting a long time for series. So I always try to at least get the first 2 books out pretty quickly. And then this one, I got the 3rd book out, I think, pretty quickly too. 6 months later isn't that bad. But then Glow, it just took a lot longer because it was a lot heavier, I think, a lot longer. That's when I went, like, really dug my fingers into the world and the POVs and really fleshed out, like, all the characters. So, yeah.
Gosh, I want to ask my own personal questions, but I will focus. Okay. Before we get into, like, plot, I guess.
Yeah.
We should do the giveaway.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, what we're gonna do, everyone who is here right now, we're gonna pose so that you can take a screenshot, and this is so that we look cute in your little video.
And not like
yeah. We're gonna pose, you can screenshot it, and then if you share it to your Instagram stories and tag us in it, we will choose a winner tomorrow from those submissions. So,
and they're gonna win.
Oh, and they're gonna yes. So
right?
yes. So basically, I'm gonna say, since I handle it, is it okay if I just say they can choose whatever T-shirt they want from the merch store?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, you were talking about the villain. I'll be the villain for you T-shirt, And I was talking about a
Wait, those
Brightside
t-shirts are
t-shirt.
like really soft and lovely.
Yeah,
I
they
love them.
are.
I love them.
They're such good quality.
Yeah.
It's actually not US only either because we use a third party like fulfillment service that ships internationally. So
Nice. Okay.
everybody go for it.
Are
And
we posing?
I think we're posing. You ready?
Okay, go.
Oh, that's cute. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool.
Oh, see,
If
she
you
said
if you
she
did
said the sorry, go
what?
ahead. I
What?
said she said the shirts are comfy too. Bethany did.
They are. They're so, even the crew necks are really comfy too.
Yeah.
But we're just doing a t-shirt this time. But you should buy a crew neck because they're anyway, that sounds so salesy, but honestly, they're
Yeah,
very
no,
comfy.
you made them and I got some and I was like, oh my God, these are really, because sometimes you can get merch bookish t-shirts. They're not comfy, they're cute, but these ones, they're soft. I like them.
Yeah. They're direct to garment printing. They're not like it's not like ink
Yeah.
like that's thick or crunchy or anything. Anyway. Okay, while they're posting to their stories, I just wanted to reiterate that there are going to be major spoilers for Guild, Glint, Gleam, and Glow,
Good job.
the first 4 books of the Plated Prisoner series. I don't think there's gonna, I mean, we're not gonna do any spoilers for Gold, so good luck
Can't crack this.
good luck trying to get those. But okay, let's look at the questions. Let's stick with a couple more logistical things before we get into plot. What is the Gold official release date?
December 7th.
Wonderful. And will it be available in paperback and hardcover?
For me, in the US, Canada, yes.
Okay.
The UK, with the publisher, they do things differently. So I don't know. I think they released the hardcovers first through Waterstones, and then they released the paperbacks. I think that's how they did it for the first ones.
And you had mentioned needing to sign a bunch. So does that mean that there will be special editions?
Well, so all the special editions that have already been released, like Bookish Box, those are happening, and Fairy Loot, those are both happening. So, yeah, I'll have to sign tip-ins for both of those, and I also will do some Waterstones signatures as well.
Okay, perfect. Someone just asked, how do I get a signed copy? Yeah, Waterstones, and then we are planning on doing a like book plate sale around Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're gonna shoot for.
Yes, and if anybody purchased the limited gold sprayed edges from Raven last year, whenever we did that, you will also receive a special email to complete your series. And those will be from me at the Nerd Fam. Oh, someone asked, is this the last book in this world, or will there be any spin-offs or novellas?
Well, here's the thing, right? I spent like 2-3 years building this world, and we're just now in this last book gonna see more. So I'm definitely not gonna say no. But yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely lots of potential there.
I would agree. How many kingdoms are there again?
Well, like alive, there's 6. Yeah. There were 7. That's where we left off. Last book is Melina was in the 7th kingdom, which everyone thinks is just like end of the world, gone, destroyed, but there is some ruins still there. And then obviously she goes and
a big old bridge
messes some stuff.
We can say it. There's gonna be lots of spoilers here. So
yeah.
We can say it. It feels weird though. It does feel
It
weird to
does feel
say.
weird. I'm so used to like not being allowed to say anything, so
I
I'm really good at
know.
it.
Um, Someone said, how much emotional damage is in gold? Like, if we were gonna rank, if we were to like rank the books,
Right.
like where are we pain wise?
Um, okay, so I've had a few rough writing days.
I
Okay,
saw your
so
videos.
yeah, I think part of it is conclusions are always a little bit more like intense, right? I
Yeah.
mean, so but I mean if everybody lived through Gleam, which I think was pretty heart-wrenching,
Yeah.
and like Sale like in the first book.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's lots of little, not even just the big moments, but like some of the little like trauma or healing moments were kind of hard. I mean, I think everybody will be okay. There's definitely going to be some heartbreak before you get to some, it'll be a balance. How's that?
It'll be a balance. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, you know what we need to talk about. We need to talk about the ribbons, Raven.
See, do we? I
We
don't see anybody asking on the comments.
everybody these you don't there it's literally ribbons, 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 ribbons. Okay.
Here's what I love.
So
Here's what
did
I
you
love. Like,
okay.
okay, when I first wrote Guild, right? And people were like, first of all, who's this lady writing about these weird ribbons on this gold person's back, right?
Yeah.
Like, I got,
Yeah.
you wouldn't even believe all these messages I got of like, just so disturbed that I wrote these things. They're like, well, like, just, they didn't like them, right? So then I go through kind of the progression to get you used to them in Glint. And then
Uh-huh.
I got you to love them in
To
Gleam and
love
just
them.
like, like a little secondary character. And and then I took them away. But it wasn't like out of the cruelty of my own heart. It's literally her ribbons signify her own journey, like as an outward expression. Like they are literally her. So in Guild Book One, she is
Mhm.
this little, caged person. And with the ribbons, you see that like physically they wrap around her. She like hardly uses them.
True.
She doesn't show anybody that she uses them.
Yeah.
She is ashamed of them. She just keeps them close and she kind of hates that part of herself. And then in Glint, we see when like Rip starts kind of pushing her and like, why are you hating yourself, hiding yourself? So the ribbons start to kind of come out of their shell just as she does. And then in Gleam, I think she really starts to get her independence and her footing. And then, but the important part for her is to kind of go through this rebirth. And I think that couldn't have happened until that piece of her was stripped away.
That was really beautiful. And I did
Oh,
not
thanks.
put all of that together. But you know my theory.
I do know your theory.
Can I say my theory?
Yeah, you can say your theory. You
Y'all,
go for it.
I think she's getting wings. I think she's, and if I'm wrong, I'm not saying you're fired. I'm just saying
Bethany agrees with you.
who does? Bethany?
See, there's people who agree with your
Okay, I think it's
theory.
gotta. I think he calls her goldfinch. Wings. Wings. Anyway, okay. I know you cannot confirm nor deny. Which she hasn't even with me. And I bring it up frequently. So, we talk daily. Um, Everybody. Okay, I'm distracted by comments because I'm like, what
I
do
know.
y'all think? Anyway, okay,
See,
okay.
well, I will say this. All the way back in book one, I'm excited because I planted lots of Easter eggs slash hints, I guess,
Uh-huh.
of things that will like come to fruition in the final book. So there are definitely things there that if you do a reread, you might be like, what what about the significance of this? Because there are really minor things that I did hide that I knew I wasn't going to reveal until the last book.
That brings me to a question that
Okay.
someone submitted where they said, is this the direction you intended to go from the beginning? Like, was everything mapped out? Like,
Um,
how much of the story was like outlined?
sorry, I got distracted by the comments. Yeah.
Understandable.
So yes, which is funny. Okay, because like before this, when I wrote like Cupidity, theirs were very like lighthearted books. I kind of just went with the characters because they're just fun.
Yeah.
But this, I wanted to do something a little bit more like healing and gritty and realistic of like just women's lives, I guess. So I knew if I was going to take on that responsibility, I really needed to plan like how I was going to do this, do it honestly, do it responsibly, just not do anything for like shock factor, but just kind of, like I said, take responsibility for what I was trying to say. So I knew, in having this kind of story, I had to plan it ahead. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I had like a perfect outline from every single book, but have I had a general idea, like I'm starting here, I'm ending here? I have. And I know in the beginning when I first started writing it, I thought I was going to be able to pull it off in a trilogy. That did not happen. As soon as I started writing Flint, I was like, oh
Yeah.
no, the world is too big for this. I didn't want to do a quick healing with her because I just didn't think it was realistic. And I know to my detriment because I lose some readers with going through the healing process with Aaron. But like I said, from my perspective, I wanted to do it honestly and give her the time I thought needed. So that's why it ended up being more books. But yeah, in general, I knew exactly what I was going to do and where I was going to end.
Where did you find your inspiration for this story?
Um, I always loved Midas's myth. Like it just always kind of like, how sometimes you grow up like reading like these different fairy tales and whatever. And his myth, I just always found it kind of fascinating. But again, it's like it's male centric. It's always about like the men.
True.
So I was like, why? Let me make it. I mean, he's already greedy. We know that. Let's make it even more like this is something that he stole. It's not even his. So yeah, I knew if I was gonna reimagine the myth, I wanted to make it completely my own. And so I actually sat on the idea for a long time and I didn't do anything with it. And then one day I was actually going through my phone notes and I used to write like a lot of poetry and I had written
Someone
the
asked about that. There was a
did
question submitted that was like, do you ever write poetry or read poetry? Anyway,
I
sorry.
do.
Keep going.
No, you're fine.
Of course you
So
do.
I found in my phone, so the poem that's at the back of the book in Guild, the Golden Gold Vine, that poem, I wrote that like years before I wrote Guild. And I saw that and I was like, oh my God, that's like the perfect theme. It was like kind of telling myself from my past self, like, hey, do this. And then once that idea kind of like was brewing, and then I just saw Aaron and I saw her like in a bird cage and I saw the ribbons and I was like, what the F are those? And I just saw them like moving here and there hurting and yeah, I just loved it. I just
Why am I like
loved her.
tearing up? It's fine. It's fine. Gosh, I love you. I feel like I'm learning so much. This is great for me personally. We should have just done this just for me. What was so someone asked specifically about Risa and Osric. Like, did you always know that like they would have a presence in the books?
I wasn't gonna do a POV on them. I
Uh-huh.
actually wasn't. I was gonna maybe just kind of still let them, I don't know, they just happened. Like last book, I seriously wrote their chapters so fast because it just like worked, and I saw them together like on the page, and I just felt like their chemistry instantly, and I had to slink that in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Someone asked specifically about like a novella about them, but do you think that their story will be sort of wrapped up?
Conclude. Pineapple. That's my safe word.
Oh, okay. Oh no. By the way, there's pineapples on this. That's our safe word, everybody. Can't talk about it. Okay. Um Amber Amber Nicole had a very specific question.
I love her.
Um she wanted to know if Slade and Riot would ever share together.
Sorry, I was looking at her. What'd you say? If Slade and Riot would share?
Yeah.
Listen, I hope there is someone out there who is writing that fanfic, because, like, I get it.
There was another
I
question
hope
about him
someone is
too.
doing that.
There was another question about Riot specifically asking if he's going to have more of a presence in Gold.
Um, I don't know yet.
Okay, it's desired if it's on the
Yeah.
table.
Well, listen, I will take care of him. Like, I know that people, I know.
Okay,
I can't say anything.
that's okay. I appreciate that. Gosh, there's so many questions. Out of all of the characters in The Plated Prisoner, which one do you relate to most?
My God, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I was not locked in a cage for 10 years, so I can't say that like I can completely understand her level of trauma or anything like that with Aaron. But I think what's relatable about her is, I think, for the most part, I'm trying not to like generalize here, but for the most part, every woman has experienced some level of manipulation in relationships, whether it's parental or siblings or friendships or coworkers or spouses and significant others, whatever. I think every woman to some level can kind of relate to that. So I think on that basis, Aaron is always going to be someone that I can relate to. Obviously, like I said, not on that scale. But then there's kind of something in every character, I think, that I really try to do with the women, especially. It's like, okay, so Aaron's perspective, she was really, mistreated by Melina. But then you see Melina's perspective, and she was kind of really mistreated by other people. So, like I didn't try to make any of the women who are antagonistic toward each other really be villains, but like really kind of see the justifications for their actions. So, like I just think there's kind of something relatable in all of them.
What I think is really interesting about your characters is that there isn't like a soft woman. Like they're all shaped by the world that they have found themselves in, and they're all
Right.
strong. Like, I
Right.
mean,
In
even
their own way.
even in a cage. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean, some people, I think, the biggest like criticisms I get for the series is like not understanding why Aaron doesn't just get herself out right away. But again, that's just like the emotional and the mental trauma. It's not physical. She's always been strong. She's always been powerful. And even though like Melina has treated her poorly, I mean, if you look at her perspective, she's married in love, and then, he brings in this other woman and she's just supposed to just go with it. Of course, there would be
Yeah.
some hard feelings with that. And then Queen Kyla, she's just trying to rule without a man, like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of cutthroat, and you got to be like that when you have like a misogynistic society. So I just think that they all have some justification, and they're all just trying to do their best to save themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Gosh, this feels like such a silly question to ask after that, but they said it's very important to them.
We're here for silly questions too.
Do we know how tall Slade is? And do we know how tall Aaron is?
How tall? Oh,
I was not trying to flip you off. I just realized I used my middle finger to scratch my face.
Oh, I didn't even see it, and that's okay. I like it. I think, okay, so I actually talked to, oh my God, I can't remember her name her username. Is it Cat Reads? Is that
The one who, yeah, who
anybody
specifically
confirm?
like does like
I think I
the
told
heights.
her, yeah. I think I told her 6.5 feet for Slade. I think that's what it should be in the book. I think I say
Oh,
somewhere
okay, great.
6.5, and hopefully I quoted her correctly because I don't always fact check when I answer quick messages, but hopefully. And then Aaron, I just see her as kind of like, I don't know, whatever you want, however tall you want her to be.
However tall you are, like the reader.
Oh, someone said
That's how tall she
6'6" in Guild, so okay.
Okay,
Oh wait, but he's not.
that's hot.
Is he in? Did I say it in Guild? I don't know. I need to look. I'm not sure.
I think it's fine. It doesn't need to be an exact number in my opinion. Okay, so we have some questions about like powers.
Okay.
How power works. So Aaron's gold, is she controlling or making? Is it an extension of her, like, can
I actually get this question a lot because, obviously I hide it in the first book, so it's not
Yes.
really well explained. And I'm even hiding it
Yes.
a little bit in book 2 because I still don't confirm. Like, Rissa has her own theories that Aaron just kind of lets her roll with. Okay, but this is the way it works. And if you've read Glow, you'll know that her power changes by then. But
Right.
in Guild, so she's kind of trapped by her power, just as like she's trapped by her cage. She doesn't have control over it. So during the day, when the sun is up, anything she touches, skin to skin, turns gold. Now, she could always control it to a certain degree without really making the connection that she could. But for instance, she could touch like a drape or something and just make the threads gilded.
Right.
Or she could touch drapes and make them solid, like a statue.
Yeah,
right?
And everybody was like, it's a plot hole, and you're like,
no. So
wait.
That she just really didn't understand, like, that she always was controlling her power to a little, like a certain degree, because she was too fearful of it to, like, practice, embrace it, whatever, see what her limitations
Yes.
are. Mm-hmm. So then we get further in and we see what happens at the end of Gleam, where she awakens this new part of herself again, because she's only used it for him, so not for herself. So when she Midas, and what she does is it's nighttime, so she's freaking out because she doesn't have power when it's night. But then what she realizes is once the sun goes down, she can control the gold that's already there. She can make new gold. Her gold touch doesn't work to make new stuff, but she can control any gold that's already there. That's why we see in Glow, Slade wants her to always have like a piece of gold on her. So if she needs to use it at night, she can.
Yes. Okay. So, Slade Rip has his like dual personalities powers, right? So he can rip the world in
Right.
two, and he's like, he is ripped in two. That
He,
was from
right.
trauma, correct?
Right. So when he and his dad had that face off, basically, they were just trying to kill each other. That raw power, it literally broke open the world. That all that power has to go somewhere.
Right.
It's not. Neither of them were gaining anything right there. So it's just this mashup of just major power, and it just ripped a tear in the world. And so when that happened, it ripped him in two. So literally his form was just split right down the middle. So his ripped form is more of his feral kind of animalistic traits showing through, and then his slayed form is obviously looks more Orion, because his mom, he was half Fae, half Orion. So that's that side of him, even though, obviously the rotted veins are a little
Right.
are a little magical. But yeah, so that's him.
So it wasn't necessarily like an emotional trauma response. It was like a physical
Physical. Right.
result of like the rip in the world. Interesting,
Right.
because like there's like a second rip that happens really. Anyway.
That was nice. That was nice. Well
I'm
done.
just okay.
Amber said daddy. Daddy? Slade?
Lots of people oh my gosh. Someone just said king, let me bend over. LOL. Yes. I got really distracted by
Me too.
thoughts.
Amber's oh my gosh, he could rip me in two any day.
I know. Okay. So I think we've answered all of the like tangentially whatever. We've answered all of the plot like plated prisoner specific questions. We do have some questions about like writing in general, but we've got like 20 minutes or so. I'm wondering if we should take some questions from the comments.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm just here for the party.
Let me do. Okay. Questions on Instagram are all specific, like in that section. It was regarding additions. Someone said, how long will gold be? Earlier, she said it'd be a thick girl.
Yeah, I don't
Someone
know.
said,
Longer than glow, I think.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone said, how old is Slade?
I've gotten this question a few times, and I actually answered that in the last book. So, he was 15 when that was, they were going at it. So Riot was 10. Slade was 15, and he ripped open the world, and that's when he went to Aurea. And Arin was 5 when she was smuggled into Aurea. And so he's actually only 10 years older than her.
Love that.
He's 5 years older than his brother. So he's 35. Okay. She's 25.
Okay.
So he's not like 500.
I mean, I don't mind it when it's Fae, but I will say that I appreciate like some like a modicum of realism in a fantasy world.
Yeah, I mean they do have longer lives, but his time frame is not like hundreds of years older than her. His mom obviously stopped aging once she was taken into Anwin, but so she's a lot older than she appears, obviously. But yeah, he's only 35.
Someone asked, what is your favorite scene from the series so far? I feel like,
my God.
I don't know if you can narrow that. I don't know if you can narrow that down. So like, you can like list off some favorites.
See, it's hard because I'm coming from like an after I write it perspective, like eh, where I can start to appreciate scenes, but or as a writer perspective where I was just spiraling with self-doubt. So that's really hard. I will say one of the ones that I looked forward to that I actually had the scene written out before I even wrote Gold was I wrote out their first sex scene when for Gleam. So I always had that like, so that was one of the ones I was most excited. However,
That was very nice.
when I actually got to write, and Sarah A. Parker, who writes the Crystal Bloom book, she can confirm.
Uh-huh.
I was a mess, and I think I rewrote that scene. I'm not even exaggerating, probably 5 times. I probably have a good 50,000 words that I cut because I just kept rewriting it and rewriting it and
Oh,
rewriting
I
it.
thought you meant it was longer, and I was like, why?
No, it was the same thing. It was just over and over and over again because I was so performance anxiety that I wasn't going to do it right. So yeah.
Mm, it was great. What's the spice level of gold?
Um, there's spice. There's definitely spice. It might be from ones that you didn't expect.
Okay.
So we'll say that.
I'm just drinking out of my pineapple cup. It's
I
fine.
know.
It's our safe word, everybody. Okay, so we asked about favorite scenes. What about favorite character? Like who would you hang out with?
Who would I hang out with? I would just love to hang out with like Lou and Judd. Like I just think that they would be the funnest people to hang out with. So yeah, I think that would just be so easy and nice. Of course, I would love to hang out with Slade and Aaron, but they're kind of in their own little world. So I think I could fit in with Lou and Judd.
Will we see more of Lou in gold?
Yeah.
That's exciting. Um, Someone asked about the show. Do we have any updates on the show? I know that stuff is really slow moving.
Yeah, no, it's super slow.
Yeah.
It's like so early. I mean, we just have to like cross our fingers that something
Yeah.
progresses. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a finished series is probably better to base a show off of than an
right.
incomplete series if you don't know where it's
Yeah.
going. But who would you cast for Aaron and Slade?
Yeah, I get asked that. I also get asked for like character Pinterest boards. I actually don't do that.
Okay.
I have pulled up models only when I have to get like character art done, and I know that sometimes artists like to have like a visual representation. But for me personally, because they're so in my head, I just make them up. So I don't ever I can't cast. I'm terrible at that. I also think it would be nice to have like unknowns, like someone who's just like authentically that character.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I don't know any actor names. I just know the character names. Um, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you were hoping to talk about?
I don't think so.
That's okay. Um, Someone asked, this is probably way too big of a spoiler, but someone said, does Arn meet her parents or family?
I mean, that's a you'll find out more about Arn and her past and her heritage, I guess.
Will there be more like flashbacks in Gold?
Um, Not like there were in Glow, but
That was fun.
there are a few.
Okay. Okay. Um, okay, let me just check out over on TikTok. Seeing Mm-mm-mm. Oh, oh no. I'm not sure that any of these are super relevant anymore. Is there going to be another book after Gold? So she already said basically like it's a big world. The story will conclude in Gold, but
dot, dot, dot.
yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and get to just like general like writing questions. You already answered the fan of poetry, which I think just that's so cool. What is your favorite book in this series, and then what is your favorite like series written by someone else?
Oh my God. That's way too hard to answer. So what's my favorite book in this series?
Yeah.
I really loved Gleam.
Yeah.
I think I loved it so much because of the balance of it. I still was able to do like the relationship angst, like are they, aren't they? And I love that shit.
Me
So I
too.
think that was fun. But I also got to do like this explosive payoff, which was cool. And then for her taking out Midas, that was just like so I loved that part. So I think probably Gleam was my favorite, but I really loved Glow too, just because she got to be more independent and kind of see who she is outside of Kings. I think
Yeah.
that was kind of cool.
I love an expanding world, and the fact that we get to do that twice basically because she gets to get out of the cage, she gets to see Oria, and then
Right.
now we're going again. Like I'm so excited. So I don't know. I feel like Gold might end up being my favorite just because like
Exciting.
we could go
New stuff.
anywhere. It could be
Yeah.
it could yeah. Um okay, and then what was your, if you don't have a favorite series, like what are like what are you reading right now? What have you enjoyed lately, maybe?
Well, what I'm reading right now, I don't know if I'm allowed to to say the title, but I'm reading an arc from Daniel Jensen, which already started out with a bang. So I really love that. A series that I really love, and I'm of course gonna give indie shout outs.
Yeah.
But if you like Plated Prisoner, like a dark reimagining, you should, I already mentioned her earlier, but Sarah A. Parker's series, the Crystal Bloom series. So the first one's called To Bleed a Crystal Bloom. She's like so lyrical when she writes. She just has such a way about her language that I just like it. The part of me who loves to read poetry, like it just like feeds that part of me. So I love her. So if anybody, I always recommend her.
I love her too.
What else? Well, I have to give a shout out to Ivy Asher because she's my bestie. But she writes like the best strong female characters, and I love reading paranormal romance, and I think it's kind of hard. Maybe just because I've read so many, it's kind of hard to find really good ones that I can connect with. And hers, I always love. So, paranormal, strong female, always has cool magic. I love her. What else? I love Dark Shifter books. So Anne Denton has one of my favorites. She does like Defiant by Anne Denton is really good. Dark and sexy and gritty. So I love her. And one of my favorites, it is dark though, so you have to check your triggers. But Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. I love that.
Oh yeah,
book.
you made me read that one. That was dark.
Sorry. It is dark. I love it though.
I understand. So I feel like I'm kind of picking up on something though, because all of the, I mean, maybe Ivy not as much. Ivy's kind of like an action movie in my head.
Yeah,
like when I'm reading her
totally.
books, it's like a lot of like kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah.
But like Sarah A. Parker and like Sea of Ruin, like both of them do have like that like poetic like
Yeah.
prose, and like it's really okay. I see it.
I love that. Well, one of my favorite writers who's not indie, and it's actually a man, which I usually love women writers, but
Yeah.
just because of his like poetic way
Yeah.
about him is Marcus Zuzak. A lot of people know him from like The Book Thief and that sort of thing, but my favorite books from him is called I Am the Messenger, and it's short and it's not like romance or anything like that, but I just love his language. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I should read that. Have you read
you should.
Once Upon a Heart?
I haven't.
You
I
should.
should.
Okay.
I know. Okay.
Um, what is the hardest part about writing a book?
You know what it is? It's just sitting down and writing.
Yeah.
Because um at first when I was so the first book I ever wrote by myself was The Girl Who Cries Colors. And I wrote that after having my first daughter 8 years ago when I was going through like postpartum anxiety and just loneliness, and I think just kind of losing yourself as a new mom. I wrote that, and it was kind of heavy, and then I wrote Cupidity to like get myself out of that headspace and be happy
Yeah.
and make myself smile, and I really wanted to dive headfirst into like reverse harem because I just thought like how fun is that? Like
That series is
I just love
so fun. Y'all,
it.
at one point, like that main character like has like the best potty mouth in the whole world. She calls it a coochie cork. And I swear there's like a million of those. There's just like a million euphemisms that are just, and I'm like, I was like, Raven, where did you get all these things? And you told me you had a note in your phone
I did.
where you kept them all.
I did. Well, because I didn't want to reuse. Like I had to come up with new ones all the time. So I did. I had a note in my phone of all the ones I used for different body parts.
I love it.
But yeah, so I didn't actually think anyone was going to buy or read those books. And then it took off. So it turned from being a hobby to being like a career, which, like, first of all, dream come true, amazing. But
Yeah.
then the pressure comes, and like, it's not a hobby. It's not something that you're just doing for fun anymore. You're doing it like for your passion, but you're doing it for, a job. And so
Yeah.
I just think it just brought different things. So sometimes the pressure of it, making myself just sit down and write, that was the hardest transition. Now it's just trying to balance my life with my career because I have a new baby and an older daughter and all that stuff. So
I've really enjoyed watching your like weekly recaps of writing, but like what does your like daily schedule look like, or does it always change?
no, I have to be pretty routine with a baby.
Yeah.
Um, so usually I get up like 6 a.m. And get the baby, get my older daughter sorted either for school or summer camp, whatever. And then, by 8 a.m. I'm usually in the sprint room with Ann Denton, and she sprints with me all morning.
That's a writing sprint, everybody.
Yeah,
Where you
not
like
running. Oh God, no.
Yeah. Not everybody knows what a writing sprint is. You might need to break it down a little.
So basically, I write with someone on like online, so I can see them writing at the same time I'm writing. We just see like each other's word counts, so it's kind of like accountability. It makes it feel not so lonely. You just have like a partner there to be like, are you scrolling?
Yeah.
So I write with her until like early afternoon, and then Sarah Parker wakes up in Australia, and then she gets on, and I write with her all like basically all day and night, and then I get up. But that's deadline time. I mean, that's post baby. I have to finish this book, so I need to hurry up. But
Mhm.
normally I would just write during the day and then take the night off. But right now it's just harder because I'm behind.
Do you have like any specific plans for after gold, or are you just like taking a long, relaxing break?
I do have plans after gold.
We need to talk about that.
So yeah, I have major plans. I'm gonna just as soon as gold is done, I'm diving right into something else.
Can you tell us about it?
No, pineapple. No, no.
Can you tell me about it after the live?
Yes, for a bribe, if you bribe me.
I will bribe you. I don't know what I'll send you, but it'll be great. Some more compression wrist things. um, do you have any advice for aspiring authors?
Um, I mean, I feel like I just got lucky, so I don't know how much my advice counts. Um, Basically, force yourself to write even when you don't want to, even when you think it's complete shit. I can't even tell you how many times I have spiraled, even just this week, to like Ivy and Sarah about like just how terrible all of it and the whole book. I think that's kind of normal for any kind of creative, whether you're creating content or um, you're painting or you're writing or whatever. I think there's always that self-doubt. So you kind of just kind of push through that. It's really easy to get in like a depressive headspace, especially because
Yeah.
I think creatives are kind of already inclined to do that anyway. So you gotta push through that and just keep going. Like I said, even when you don't want to. And then you have to get like a very close circle of people who you trust, who you can take criticism from. Because at the end of the day, you need other opinions to like make your help you learn how to make your stuff better.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love you so much. Do you have any last words for the live? Anything you want to say about gold, about things that you have coming up, things you want to
Um,
plug?
Well, I'll be doing weekly writing wrap-ups on TikTok every Monday. I'll post those and I'll give a sneak peek of a sentence that I wrote
I'm
that
like
week.
converting them as well for Instagram into graphics.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
not at
that's
the
right.
not on the same day, but
Yeah.
yes. So
So that
yeah, so
sneak
you're
peek
giving weekly
sentence will
updates
be
on
both.
TikTok.
Hmm.
Yep.
So
Um,
that'll be the progression of that.
you'll be at a Polycon
Yeah,
in
with you. You're
2024.
coming. You're gonna help me.
Uh-huh. Tickets go
A,
on sale tomorrow.
a Polycon will be fun because I went last year and I was pregnant and I was sick. I mean, not, I was just pregnant sick, not like contagious sick.
Yeah.
And I had to leave time to go pee. And I felt so bad for everybody, but they were also nice. So this next year will be fun because I won't be pregnant and I will be able to enjoy myself a little bit more, I think.
Do you have any other signings planned? Someone specifically asked about rare.
Well, all the rares are international, so I love
Yeah,
rares. I've been to like three rares. I'm not going any international right now just because my baby's so little, but
maybe. Yeah.
maybe in a couple years I'll do another international.
Okay. Awesome. Um, well, it's been an hour, and I know that you have your children, and I have my children, and people are immediately upset about it. Um, but thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Thank you, Raven, for giving so much of yourself. Not just in the live, but in this story. I distinctly remember when like things were going on legally in this country, and how affirming it was to just be able to like look at things that you've written and to be inspired and to feel connected. So
Yeah,
anyway,
I think we have a good community, so I love
yeah.
seeing, I love all of us. You know what I mean? That's why I love to
I
do
love
book
us
signings,
too.
all that, that energy. Just this, like, I love it.